Fasting. Why are people so obsessed with starving themselves? It's rigid, it's extreme, yet people say it melts fat, gives them energy, breaks them free from food. What is going on? Today we're going to unpack the 5 reasons why people can't stop fasting. We're going to talk about what works, what doesn't work. Stay tuned, you're going to get surprised.
Yeah. Do we have any data on the popularity of that just in the context of the last decade? Like, obviously it's been around forever, but I remember when we first started kind of talking about it on the podcast, and it seemed like it was just on fire. Then it felt like it kind of died off, but then it feels kind of like it's having a resurgence again. Is that am I on to the trend?
It's one of the most popular quote unquote diets still to this day.
Still.
Yeah, it still is. Now the success rate of fasting in the data shows that it's about as successful as any other diet. Okay.
Really, it's not anymore.
No.
I would actually think it would be a little bit more.
No. I mean, in comparison
because of your first point. Your first point to me highlights a big reason why so many people do it, and then also why I would think it would have a little more success.
No, and you guys know this, guys. It's typically not the diet that's the problem.
It's adherence.
Yeah, and it's adherence, but it's also the individual and what's going on around the relationship to food. I mean, we've coached people for a long time, and there's things that you need to work on that are root issues that'll make whatever diet you're on either far more successful, or if you refuse to work on them or you don't, that'll make all of them as equally unsuccessful. And yes, there are diets that are less successful than others in terms of adherence. When I'm talking about fasting in comparison to other diets, I mean in comparison to other diets that are ones that we would say, well, those are okay, because there's crazy stuff that's out there.
Sure.
I don't think any dietitian or anybody in the health space would say
go to the celery diet.
Yeah, like no, that's like the worst, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the fail rate is about the same as other diets, but people love it. Here's the thing. People absolutely love it. Now, we've done a lot of episodes, a few episodes at least, on why it's not a great way to lose weight, but it's very similar to why we don't think just cutting your carbs is a great way to lose weight, or why any type of quote unquote diet is necessarily a great way to lose weight. Yeah. But again, people love it. The people that do it or talk about it absolutely love
There's
it.
There's value to it. It's just the application of it.
Yes.
And I think that's really why we always try to kind of highlight that. What's the best application of it?
It's also one of the oldest diets. Yeah. It's been around for fasting. Was a spiritual diet. It's been around for thousands of years. It's the original diet. We used to call it starving yourself in the 90s when people would say, I skipped
way back in the day.
Yeah, I skipped breakfast, or I skipped 2 meals, and that's what we would say. But again, when you talk to people, here's why people like it so much. And the first reason is it's simple.
Yep.
People
Doesn't get more simple than that.
Simple. Now, here's the problem with simple is that diet is nothing. It's anything but simple. The food that you eat is so connected to so many aspects of your personality, your culture, your life, that to say that it's this one simple step is going to fix all that is naive. Food isn't just fuel. I know a lot of fitness influencers will convince you otherwise. It's not just fuel. It's also connection. It's also celebration. There's also an enjoyment that we get from it. That's a value. It can also be healing. It can also be abused. That's obvious.
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia. There's foods that I love, not because they're objectively delicious, but because I got memories connected to those foods. One of my favorite examples of that are those, I've brought them up before on the show, those chicken and a biscuit crackers, which objectively is like, what am I eating? It's like, it's a cracker that tastes like chicken soup.
Flavored chicken.
It's like a bouillon cube.
A little off topic, but not totally. I had this kind of epiphany in relation to this of we were having roasted marshmallows.
Yeah.
And I was realizing just how terrible they taste.
Yeah, what?
I'm like, but yet I love it. And I'm like, what am I doing? But of course, it's the
nostalgia.
Sitting around with my son by the fire, put them on and light them up. And I'm
you're not going to eat roasted marshmallows like by yourself watching TV.
Yeah.
It's because you're around a fire.
But I mean, even like I just happened to have this. It was literally just happened this last week. This internal conversation of like, if you were to ask me before I was eating them in that moment, do you love doing roasted marshmallows? Oh, yeah, I love that. I love that. But then as I'm like eating, I'm like, this really is not
dude.
taste good. I've convinced myself.
Yep.
In fact, I burned the marshmallow to get it to
like it better.
Yeah, I like it burnt.
I know. No, the chicken and biscuits, because when I was sick and I'd be home from school, if I stayed at my grandma's house, she'd always have them.
Yeah.
And so it was always like this nostalgia of my grandma taking care of me and letting me watch whatever I wanted.
Triscuits for me.
Yeah, Triscuits are disgusting, right?
They're horrible.
Yeah. But my point with this is diet is complex. Nonetheless, people like simple. Don't eat carbs. Just eat this. Don't eat that. How about this? The only rule is you can only eat between the hours of here and here. It doesn't get more simple than that. It really does. Eat whatever you want. Just don't eat outside of this time window.
Wouldn't you say that this is more of a marketing rule than anything else?
Oh, yeah. It's human psychology.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Marketing is human psychology.
Yeah. So
100%.
this is really more of a marketing rule. Is like, keep it simple that a 5-year-old can understand it, and you're more likely to sell it when people adopt it.
Yep.
And so some complex diet that requires calculations or percentages.
Oh God, no one's gonna do that.
I'm like, that's too much. Oh, tell me, just don't have that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I could do that, which is why carnivore diet, which is why
your food and write it all
why
in.
these no carb diets is like, I just eliminate one thing, or I just or don't eat, which is the simplest of all.
Yeah. It's like, hey, eat whatever you want. Just eat between the hours of
skip this one.
Yeah. Super simple, super black and white. That makes it super appealing to human behavior. The second reason is it definitely can, and I say can because there are cases where this becomes a problem, especially people with previous histories of eating disorders. So fasting, terrible idea for somebody who suffered from anorexia or bulimia or anything along those lines, because it would just still send them spiraling. But to people who feel chained to eating, like, what does this look like? All right, I'll give you an extreme example. This was me in an extreme example. Growing up, starting to lift weights, I'm 14 years old. Like, I just want to get big. That's all I care about. This is still an issue that I have to struggle with. But when I was 14, it was full speed ahead. Like, this was my thing. And all I want to do is get big at all costs. And when I learned that eating food was important, then I was chained to it. And then when I learned that I had to eat every 2 hours, that's what the bodybuilders did.
Yep.
If I went more than 2 hours without eating, I could see with my eyes, obviously imagine, but I could see with my eyes, my muscles are getting smaller. Oh my God. And it was a problem to the point where I would become irritable.
Yeah.
And I would think I was hangry or whatever. And
this is definitely the hangry people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fasting for me broke the chains from that. I realized I didn't have to eat 7 times a day. I mean, literally, you guys, my personal training business, I was training 10 people a day and I was eating 7 times a day. It was like my one client would leave, I'd go in the back, I had a microwave in my studio, and I would eat it so fast. I actually mastered the art of eating fast because my next client was coming in and foam rolling, and then I'd train them or whatever. Fasting helped me break those chains. Now, to somebody who's not that extreme, a lot of people still feel chained to food. And what it feels like is like what you said, Justin. It's like, if I don't eat at lunch, I'm annoyed. I'm irritable. Yeah. If I don't eat in the morning, I feel... And that's probably not true. What's probably true is that you anticipate eating, you're connected to food because you have to eat at this time. And then when you fast, you start to realize like, oh, actually, I'm not irritable. It's just the anticipation.
I think we were all like culturally programmed that way. I mean, I felt that way. Like if I got to the point where I was hungry, I felt like that was a big problem. Like, what did you do? You should have ate, and it was just all this, hype around, like you have to eat and you have to get ahead of that.
You should never feel hungry.
Never feel hungry. Yeah. And then there was you're gonna lose muscle. And then so there's that paranoia on top, stacked on top of that. So yeah, I remember going through a 24-hour fast and it really did like put me in complete different perspective.
Well, especially in our profession, I think it's exacerbated, right? I think that we're taught the importance of, and back then a lot of us, believed or adopted the anabolic window and the benefits of that and just how important it was to hit those protein targets. And so, we became obsessed with that. I told you guys this when we were early on in the podcast that the clients I loved using it best with were my competitors.
Yeah, because they were like that.
They were the most disciplined around eating like that. They were the ones that never missed meals and could tell you, oh, I've gone years and not missed a meal. And it's like, oh, these are the perfect people to implement something like this, is to help that attachment that they have to food. And so I think it has value. But a lot of people do you guys also think this? I feel like, doesn't it feel like more often than not, I know there's always exceptions to the rule. Example, this would be like Michaela Peterson, who absolute carnivore diet was what she should be on. It's been life-changing for her. But for the most part, doesn't it feel like most people adopt like the absolute worst diet for them?
Yeah.
Like there are the wrong people that choose to do the diet, whatever diet too, by the way, replace fasting with carnivore or whatever that. It's like they tend to gravitate towards the thing that's probably the
attracted to the dysfunction instead of what's good for you.
It's like that person who keeps
getting abused.
They keep getting in dysfunctional relationships. Yes. They don't fix their own insecurities.
They think it's they think it's the other person. It's the diet. Yeah. I gotta try another diet. I try another. It's like no, it's you.
It's not the diet, dude.
It's you. Dude. You're the common denominator.
It's not every guy. It's not every girl. It's you. I think the common denominator is you. No, 100%. I totally agree with that. Today's program giveaway is MAPS Anabolic. If you want to win, leave a comment below this video. In the first 24 hours that we drop it, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, do all of that, and then if we win Anabolic, we'll let you know in the comment section. We also have a sale on some other programs this month. MAPS Split and the Anabolic Metabolism Bundle, that's all 50% off. If you're interested, go to mapsfitnessproducts.com, use the code July50 for that discount. Back to the show. Next, and this is what people will promote, weight loss. Does it promote weight loss? Well, for a lot of people it does because it's a very fast and easy way of cutting calories.
Reduce calories,
yeah, like obvious. If I have a 3-hour eating window, I'm probably going to eat less calories. But I say probably because people have found ways to eat a lot in 3 hours. This can turn into this kind of restrict binge type of thing. True. But for many people, especially in the beginning, when they don't eat until 5 o'clock, or when they don't eat after 10 a.m. or whatever, it just results in eating less calories. And so then they're losing weight, and then they're like, oh, it must be the fasting that's causing the weight loss. Like, no, it's the calorie deficit. And there's studies on this. Not that we needed the studies because we knew this, but there are very now good studies comparing, fasting to calorie deficit, all things being equal. Does fasting result in more fat loss? No, it doesn't. It doesn't change anything.
I love how much we science the shit out of the window. Meaning, and what I mean by that is like we have written books and we have convinced people of the crazy
timing.
Yes, that when restricted in this window for this time, it's beneficial for all these lists of things, right? And we list it, and you're just, oh my God, there's something magical about the 6 or 8 hour window. So that when in reality, the real most effective part of the window is that it's just really hard to eat over calories in such a small time frame. And so that's the real science. It's not, I mean, we sell it as the cell autophagy, and we sell it as all these things that are happening, in your body physiologically that are so beneficial, but it's like, come on, you're splitting hairs on those benefits when it comes to that. If you did 9 hours or 6 hours, or like it's almost irrelevant, but we've sold people so hard on the science behind that, when it's like, no, really what it is that we've constrained your eating time so small that it's like, good luck trying to eat 4,000 calories.
Right. That's right. Exactly.
Pack it all in there.
Now the next 2 points, there's merit. Reduced inflammation. For people with gut health issues, certain types of gut health issues, by the way, within your eating window, you would still have to eat a particular way because you could totally flip this and just screw it all up. But giving your digestive system a break from working at all, in many cases,
stress
is good for gut health. So there are cases where there's so much gut inflammation, and again, it depends on the individual, right? Because sometimes fasting can actually cause more stress to happen and stuff like that. But there are cases where it's like, yeah, dude, it's a good idea to not eat so frequently because you need to give your digestive system a break. You need to reduce inflammation. And that's what happens. It's like anything. Like when the digestive system is working, there's going to be more inflammation in the digestive system. When you leave it alone, it has a chance to repair. In extreme cases, long fasts have been shown to completely heal people's guts. So you have cases in situations, I'm going to be very clear, you would want to work with a functional medicine practitioner to see if this is appropriate for you. But there are cases where people will fast for 72 hours and their gut lining is almost back to normal. Now, this was me. I struggled, and I say struggled because I think I figured this out for the last year. I think I've actually fixed my gut health over the last year. But on and off, probably for, maybe 13 years to at least 10 years, I struggled with gut health issues. sometimes better, sometimes worse. My go-to fix when everything else wasn't working was fast. And when I would fast for 48 hours, I'd come back and my gut would be much better. So there is an anti-inflammatory benefit from giving your digestive system a break. And that's 100% true.
You know, the truth about that, though, that represents less than 10% of the people that are motivated to do it for those reasons.
No, most people are not
Most
fasting for gut health.
No, 90%. Because I would be pro that. If I had a client that was
100%.
like, that was telling me how much they're bad, they're like, man, Adam, I just feel so good when I do that 24-hour fast. We're like, dude, we're implementing it because of that reason. But that's rarely what the case is most of the time. You know, this reminds me of, too, do you guys remember how fired up we used to get early on when we started the podcast of the influencer dorks that would do they were viral. They were millions of followers and they were promoting fasting, and it was like they would crush a whole pizza, the whole page. Remember that? You remember that guy?
Yes.
We got into it with one of those guys. I remember
1 meal a day.
Yes.
And I can eat whatever I want and be shredded.
And he would be showing people just
promoting bad eating habits.
Terrible
binge restrict.
Yeah.
Binge restrict.
And he was, I don't know, he's like 20-something years old, skinny kid.
It was bulimia without the throwing up. It was totally binge restrict.
Just such an irresponsible thing to be teaching or telling people that you can do it. Should you do it? Probably not. I think even if you saw results,
I
could
have
lead
seen
to some really bad.
I have seen just as many, because earlier we said it can help people to break the chains from food. I have seen just as many people become chained to dysfunctional eating through fasting. Because it promoted this. Like people without this terrible dysfunction will start fasting, and then what it starts to morph into is restrict. Oh, my eating window, binge. Yeah. And I saw this so many times that I started becoming anti-fasting.
Well, this goes to my point that I said earlier, that I think that a majority of people are attracted to the wrong diet for them. And this gave the the girl who ate 5 servings of carrots all day long permission to do that. Yeah. Like that she was doing something okay. Like, I can do this. Oh, I'm fasting. It's no, that's not healthy. It's not healthy
not at all. And lastly, again, this is a true one. Not eating for a certain period of time, prolonged period of time, spikes catecholamines. All right, what are catecholamines? Dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine. These are chemicals that are released in fight or flight situations. They also feel good. They feel good. Like your dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine goes up. You're hyped. You have energy. You feel sharp. Now, the evolutionary argument for this is if you go without food for a long time, your body is trying to get you better at hunting because you suck right now.
Give you a boost.
Yeah, you're not getting food.
Yeah,
so
go get it.
Let's get you. Now, this can get addicting. This feeling, because here's what happens when you fast, especially if you do a long fast, is at first you're like, oh, I'm struggling. And then you're like, I'm hungry. And then you break through and suddenly like, oh my, and you'll see people talk about this. Oh my God, I feel amazing. I feel so sharp. What they're feeling is this cocktail of drugs that's getting released called catecholamines. Now, here's what happens. Here's the bad side of this, because it's not necessarily bad to spike your catecholamines, but if you repeatedly do this over and over and over and over and over again, it starts to become too much of a stress response. You get less of this spike, and you actually can fall into HPA axis dysfunction as a result. As your receptors start to downregulate, you stop producing as much of those things, and then you suddenly now fasting, you feel like garbage as a result. And I've seen this, by the way, it's more in my experience. This is more common with women where they'll do this, and suddenly their hair's falling out and they feel like garbage. Even though we're getting adequate nutrients, it's like, what's going on? But again, this is real. If you fast, you'll probably, and I say probably because some people won't, but you'll probably get an energy boost. And then you'll say, how is this possible? I'm not eating food. It's the beauty of these chemicals that you're pumping out, I think
the biggest bone I have to pick with fasting is, and most people that listen to the podcast are strength training. You probably come here. You obviously have heard us promoting it for so long. And in that context of lifting weights to build muscle, to speed your metabolism up, to then maybe in turn lose body fat or be healthier in general, it is difficult. And in my experience,
it's already difficult.
It is really difficult, not just personally, but all the people I've trained, really difficult to hit your protein targets, optimal protein targets, in a 24-hour window.
Yeah.
So restricting somebody to a smaller window and then also saying,
imagine like for me, I'd have to eat
out a major meal.
Yeah, 200 grams of protein I'd have to eat in 3 hours. What am I going to do?
Yeah. And so And you want to talk about slowing your results or your progress in pursuit of speeding your metabolism up and building muscle and building the physique you want. Well, I got a recipe for that. Don't hit your protein targets consistently,
Yep.
And so I just think that it's terrible for that. Very few people I have met, even people that have had success with fasting, their success is just because they lost weight, right?
Yep.
They reduced calories and the weight came down, so therefore they think it was a good strategy. But then they're in this awful plateau where they're not getting the body they want. And they're not getting the body they want because they can't build any muscle. They can't build any muscle on that low of calories and that low of protein. And they can't do that because they've restricted themselves to a window. It's very difficult to hit 130, 170, 200 grams of protein consistently day in, day out. Therefore, all the work you're doing in the strength training, the best MAPS program in the world,
You hamstrung it.
Yeah, it isn't reaping the benefits that it should.
100%. That's one of my biggest qualms with it. This brings me to the topic. I just got to tell you guys, and I'm going to say it on air because I'm going to keep myself accountable. I don't want to do this series. I don't want to do this YouTube series. I do not want to do this where I get on there and publicly attack in a real way, tackle the dysfunction that I have around fitness. I don't want to do it. I'm wrestling with it. I don't want to do it. I'm trying to convince myself not to. I'm coming up with ways to twist it so that it still becomes about me. And man, I was talking this morning. I did some mobility work because I'm trying to only lift a couple days a week is what I'm trying to do right now. And I've been trying that for a little while. But I went to UFC gym. I had a short period of time. I had to come in here early, meet with Doug. And so I hopped in there just to do some core and some mobility. And I ran into Johnny Sebastian, our good friend, pro bodybuilder. Love him. We've known him forever. He actually worked for me way back in the day. Anyway, he's going to compete again. And he's talking about tackling the same issue that I have, right? With fitness. Yeah. He's recording a series right now, and him and I were talking about this, and he's in prep right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, how do I do this? He's like, do I tell people like everything I'm doing? I'm like, I don't know, man. And we're just going back and forth. And I'm like, because I love it. So what am I supposed to do? Not do stuff that I love? That doesn't seem right. Like, what does this look like? What does fitness look like? I'm talking personal. What does it look like for me to where it's not to glorify me? It's no longer an idol. Like, how do I do this in a way that I'm not serving this terrible idol? I don't know, man. Well, and I don't want to do it. I really don't, because it's gonna be super raw, and I'm gonna be angry and the whole time. So
I think a great thing to bring up post talking about fasting, because I think the most valuable part of fasting for people is to show them their relationship that they had with food and how unhealthy it was. Right. And it breaks those chains. In the same token, that is what that's going to do, right? By ripping the Band-Aid off, by forcing you to not do the thing that you love, that you say you love, will also start to break those chains of the relationship that you have with exercise, and admitting that it may not be the healthiest. Yeah. And what's hard about that, which I understand, is
I know that, and I can admit it. But here's what's going to happen: is that my workouts are going to get filmed.
Yeah.
Every time I'm working out, Dylan is going to be filming me, and I'm going to be talking about this. Yeah. So there's no hiding.
Right. Yeah.
Now, my pride can get the better of me, and I know that. So that's going to be a risk too, because I'm going to be like, what's going to get the most attention? So it's I also need to steer clear from.
Yeah.
But it's going to be real conversation around this. And it is easy. You guys know I'm a good sales guy. Okay.
Yeah.
I can sell myself really well. And I could easily be like,
so this is more of like a documentary.
I'm going to be working out, and I'm going to be focusing on, things that like mobility and health and my workouts. And I'm going to be quite honest, I'm probably going to be focused on building muscle sometimes, getting stronger, but I have to talk about it while it's happening. And
bro, it's going to be so therapeutic.
Talk to those people that are like you.
I was, the three of us, I was the first one to do this, and I didn't really overthink what it was going to look like. I didn't overthink like what would be the most viral. I just said, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to attach the mic to my bill or my hat, and I'm not even going to talk to the camera. I'm not even going to try and sell anything or over explain. I'm going to work out. And as things come up in my mind, I'm just going to vocalize it.
Yep.
And
that's why I'm afraid.
Some people liked it, some people didn't. I really didn't care if you didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of critiques of people. Oh, should have done that. I was like, I don't give a shit. That wasn't why I like. And that's how I think you should do it. Is that the same type of attitude of like you can even and allow your freedom to go into the workout that like I might not even know what I'm going to do today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I might change it.
You just you submit it and address it. It's like people are wanting to just hang out. They want to observe like that inner dialogue, and if you could vocalize your inner dialogue, I think that would help a lot.
I'm going to, which is why I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
because it's going to be the most real.
That's why it's interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be the most real thing I think I've ever done.
I think it's so interesting.
It's going to be real.
And look, you know what's helping me do this is two things. One, I don't want to let you guys down. It's a very powerful motivator.
Good.
You guys know that.
Yeah, we put that pressure in there.
Yeah, I know. And I don't want to let you guys down. So.
Because the business could crash if you don't.
Yeah, that's I could crash it with the series, Adam. You never know. No, that's a motivator. The other motivators, I'm getting encouraging messages from people who are saying, like, I'm looking forward to this.
They want
I have the same issue with that you do.
Awesome.
You know, with fitness, it's all of the fitness fanatics, right? That struggle with this. And we speak to this all the time. We have callers call in all the time that struggle with this. And one of the reasons why I can speak to them so well is I'm talking to myself. I'm like, I know what this should feel like. And I can give advice real good. I'm really good at giving other people advice. But now it's like it's going to be on me. So, I am not looking forward to this at all. It's giving me anxiety. It's making me
I have to tell you, I'm so excited for you.
I'm sweating right now.
I've enjoyed watching Justin's. I enjoyed doing the one I did, and I'm really excited to see yours. And I think what it is a little bit different for me because, ironically, I'm actually not really that into fitness content. So the stuff I consume is more probably business, cars, stuff like that. I love, for example, my favorite business content to watch or when people make stuff. Hormozy has a series where he basically has a serial entrepreneur come on and basically, and the part that I love the most is watching his brain work in real time.
Yes.
Not what he said.
Problem solving in the realness of it.
Not like how cool the business was or how successful it was or wasn't. It's just watching someone who I have respect his business acumen, I have respect for his business acumen, and then watch him problem solve in real time and just see how I think that's how people have a lot of respect for your fitness knowledge in your brain that I think they would love to see you handle any challenge. And just how does when he's struggling
how do you work through this?
They want that, which I also remember you guys reminded me of this when I was going through my series and I kept getting hurt and I was getting so discouraged and pissed off and you're like, dude, people love that more. They love because it humanizes you. Shit still happens to you and they want to see, okay, how does his brain work when that shit happens and how does he communicate it? And so you just need to go into completely like a blank slate like that and I think it will turn out much better than you think if you other than trying
there's only one thing there's only one direction I can do and do this right and it can't be for anybody but God. It has to do it for him because if I do it for the audience it's really easy for me to turn into teacher, sales guy. If I do it for me, we know what that looks like. If I do it for you guys, then it'll be for the business. So I got to do it for something that keeps me straight and narrow, on the straight and narrow. I'll tell you who I feel bad for. I feel bad for Dylan because I feel like he's gonna get it. Because I'm gonna get mad. And Dylan's in the back looking. There's probably times I'm gonna get mad at you for filming me, but that's I'm gonna do it. I'm
gonna blend in, Dylan.
I'm gonna tell him to turn off the camera because I'm gonna be too real. But I'm talking about it now because I got the conviction.
You're gonna wear one of those ghillie suits. You ever see those?
I got the conviction. You know what I mean? I was this morning. I went for a little walk.
Yeah.
After I finished with Doug, and I got the conviction. I'm like, you need to keep talking about this because you're gonna figure out a way to twist this. I'm like, okay, dude, I'll bring it up on the show again. I don't like it.
It's good. I think you're actually going to find it very therapeutic. I think you're going to get a lot of value from it. I look forward to talking to you after the recordings and bringing it
I'm going to try to bring people in.
Yeah.
to keep it real too. So I talked to Johnny this morning. I'd love for him to be on it as well because I know he gets it.
Oh yeah, it's great.
I'm gonna try having my friend Chuck on here as part of it too because he works out, but he's a pastor.
I mean, anything and everything that you're using as a current resource.
That's what I mean. All the people that can help me.
Yeah, if you have like, of course, if you're having these normal conversations or things that you're doing that's helping you through it, like please God, share it. Yeah, share it. So we all get that insight, and I know I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be good. It's funny. It's like most stuff that we've done in this business. It's like we don't tend to do anything that's like really great viral shit. It's like what I'm saying. It's like we just haven't. And by the way,
except for that one stupid quote I did.
It's not ego
nothing
based.
Did nothing for the business.
It's not like massively ego based.
But I mean, for the trainer who listens and follows us, I hope that we can continue to be a light or a positive, like that. You don't have to go viral. You don't have to be the most famous person on the internet. Be yourself, be real, be authentic, be vulnerable, and try and provide as much value and serve others, and you will reap the benefits.
That's right.
You will. If you come from that place, and you know what? It may only be 3 people at the beginning, and it may only be 5 people, but over time, you'll impact those 3 or 5 people so much more than getting millions of people paying attention to you, no matter what you think or believe or other people tell you. And that, when it comes to trying to build a business that has purpose and meaning and a why behind it and value and is going to be successful long term, that is the formula. It really is. Yeah. And it's been distorted by all the fame and attention that you see people getting on the internet.
Totally. All right, I'm gonna change directions because I'm uncomfortable. So, hey, I have put together the most backed by data, the most powerful skin regeneration protocol you could possibly use. And I say natural because it doesn't require peptides. Are amazing. Doesn't require peptides. Everybody doesn't have access to peptides, right? You would have to get a prescription or go gray market if you want to be risky or whatever. But you can use some compounds that you could buy over the counter. So here's what it looks like. Use red light therapy, which is the most powerful thing you could do. The data on red light therapy is incredible when it comes to improving the appearance of your skin. Okay. Yeah. So like Juve, our partners Juve, they're the best that we found. If you use that regularly, by 2 or 3 sessions, you start to see a difference in the way that your face looks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But use high dose of vitamin C and use glutathione, both of those together with the red light. Oh my! I'm looking at the data with vitamin C and glutathione.
Because of the antioxidant.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh man! And by the way, glutathione, vitamin C and glutathione have been used by these like high end, and they'll use like an IV. You don't need an IV. You could take vitamin C orally, and you could get liposomal glutathione. Your body will absorb it as well. Just you have to take it for a few days for it to build up. Both of those, their effects on the skin, they're documented. So you do that, use the red light therapy. Like what we're talking about here, for anybody who's interested in looking younger, what we're talking about is like 2 weeks. Like you do this for 2 weeks, you'll notice a dramatic difference. 14 days.
What's considered a high dose of vitamin C?
1,000 milligrams.
1,000.
Yeah, 1,000 milligrams. Which, by the way, people
is that of each glutathione and of
no. It slips my mind. Doug, look up a dose of liposomal glutathione. I don't know why it slips me, but yeah, 1,000 milligrams, 1 to 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C, which you could get like a vitamin C packet. And many of them contain that much.
Are the chewables okay?
Chewables fine. Okay. Good. Yeah, chewables. You like all the kids
vitamins
stuff.
Yes. All right.
The ones that taste like
make that
orange.
Yeah.
The orange ones. Yeah, you can do that.
Orange slices.
Yeah. So vitamin C, glutathione, liposomal glutathione. I'm going
to try that. I've never tried to I use glutathione religiously for when I'm got a cold and sick and I'm trying to get better and stuff like that. And same thing with vitamin C. But I've never tried to do it when I feel good and then with using the Juve light.
Yep.
Yeah, 1 pack is 450 milligrams.
Yeah, that'll work. So you probably do 2 of those if you want to go super high. But a lot of skin creams have now vitamin C and glutathione in them.
Do you guys see? I mean, I know you go to some public, and you're starting to now. The amount of gyms now that have red light therapy,
it's crazy.
Oh yeah,
it's become
because it works.
It's an option. Yeah, it's great to see it.
Yeah, almost any of the ones that are like. I mean, what
like Equinox.
Yeah,
or something like
so
that.
I'm trying
like
to
the
think
higher end.
Yeah,
luxury
all
gym.
higher end ones. I mean,
Yeah, they for sure have
not your, maybe Planet Fitness, Fitness 19 with your $19 membership type of deal.
Sure.
But if you have a nicer spa club type, like all of them I've seen have now red light therapy areas, which is really cool, interesting to see. How much that's changed.
Doug, I want you to pull up a picture. I got to show you guys something that I learned just today. I just figured this out today.
Okay.
I'm going to send you a picture, Doug, of one of the characters from Toy Story. And I'm not going to.
This is an old Toy Story?
This is what Justin brought up.
No.
No, he's okay.
No. I'm going to text that, Doug. I'm going to text it to you right now.
I brought up the new villain.
Yeah,
Post
that's
it.
right. That's
No. This you'll recognize it. It doesn't have a name. It's not a main character, but as soon as he pulls it up, this just okay. So pull up the picture, Doug, and
Is it the Spork?
no. So you guys remember the scene where that annoying ass neighbor kid finds
and he blows him, tears her limbs off.
yeah. And then he leaves the room and all of his like monstrosity
come to life and stuff.
Yeah, his little Frankenstein toys come out.
I don't know which actor that kind of looked like him, dressed like him for Halloween.
Okay, look at this picture because I just learned this today. So how old is Toy Story? Remember this one?
Oh yeah.
Remember she walks out?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
so for people who
legs and
aren't
the
watching, there's like 3 toys that come out, and there's one that has it looks like Barbie legs,
With on a
and it looks
fishing
like
pole.
a fishing pole.
Yes.
And it's coming out, and the kid's freaking out.
Right.
The toys are freaking out.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what that is?
Other than Barbie legs and a fishing pole?
Yeah.
What it's supposed to be or
Yeah. Do you know it's an inside joke with the Pixar animators?
No way.
That's a hooker.
That's a
Oh my god. Oh my god.
like a dad joke.
Way.
It's a hooker.
Of course it is.
I just learned this today on social media.
I don't know why. I get a kick out of trying to. Disney does this all the time too.
Yeah, dude, because their artists are like it's for them, right? They're like, watch this. Nobody got it. I didn't get it.
Of course
No,
not.
I mean it's
nobody is.
Dude,
It's a little bit of a stretch, but
It's a freaking hooker,
kinda
dude.
funny. Okay.
I was dying when I saw that.
That's clever.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those are out there.
That's why what I was just saying right now. I was like, I bet there's so many like hidden gems. Like
Sure.
This is the neat part of the internet now. Like we're like that. Something you would never figure that out or find that out because even the person
just
who
gets
did,
lost.
Yeah, it gets lost and you were in translation or whatever. But for the internet is has capabilities of something going viral overnight by one person, and so now we all know
little
that stuff.
Easter eggs. Yeah, that's the funny thing. You haven't heard much about that. Like they used to be huge, like in the 90s, in all movies.
Yeah.
You go back through and you'd find all these little Easter eggs or like the way they shot it, like for instance, the cheesecake would be facing up, or then the next shot is facing down, and then and so you see all these inconsistencies, and dorks on the internet would just go crazy.
Well, and then there's the easy ones. Like we were just watching the animated Lilo and Stitch because the live action one just came out, which is actually really funny. It's really good. But we were watching the animated one, and there's a scene. It's real quick where she's in her bedroom, and in the back there's a poster of another Disney cartoon. So they do that, that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah, they tie them together.
Yeah, super funny. So I got a story to bring up for you. You'll like this one, Justin, of this really crazy thing that happened, this accident that happened to this guy. And it's pretty wild. So this dude fell. I'm going to read you the article. In New Zealand, this guy, what was he doing? He fell between the cab of his truck and the trailer behind it, and he landed on an air hose. The nozzle, so he sat on it. Okay. Now it didn't go up his anus because at first I read this. I'm like, oh, it's one of those like where he's
first thing I thought.
Yeah, where he goes to the hospital. He's like, oh, I don't know what happened. I fell. Yeah. Actually, I trained this one doctor, and he told me a story of how a guy had to get a cucumber removed from his.
And he blamed it on the.
He said he slipped in the shower.
Stop it.
I'm like, when you're making a salad, like take a shower, bro. Okay,
stop it.
Yeah, but anyway,
It's all shaved,
It
too.
didn't go into his anus. It entered into his glute, and it was an air hose. So it continued to pump air at the rate of 100 pounds per square inch into his glute.
What?
Yes, dude. You know what it did? It literally blew air into his body, and it separated the fat from his muscle. And he felt it come all the way up until his friends heard him screaming, and they were able to shut it off.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, dude. It
That
literally
sounds
inflated.
horrific.
It literally inflated half his body.
So this is so weird. So he landed on obviously something sharp enough to penetrate into his butt.
Yep.
And then the thing was already
muscle.
going.
Yeah, and it's high pressure. It's one of those high pressure hoses.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it
just
literally
pumping
blew
air
into his body. And and they're like miraculously it didn't cause anything to explode out.
Oh my God.
But it literally filled him
So
half
it wasn't
of his
like
body
the
with air.
cartoons where they just turn into a balloon.
float?
They're like, guys. Yeah.
No, it caused
that
a lot of
sounds
damage because
horrific.
it separated the fat from his muscle as the air went in.
Now, what, he didn't have the
How
capability
weird.
to pull it out.
He was I don't know if he was screaming,
stuck?
he couldn't move, it was too much, and so they had to go off, and his buddies went and shut it off. I know, bro. I read the article and I was like, "Oh my god, what a terrible accident, bro!"
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Terrible accident.
I want to hear who had the teen dating thing.
That was
there.
Justin.
Yeah, I was, because I wanted to bring that up because this is kind of the phase I'm in, and I listen to you guys a lot with your young kids.
You get bored.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm not there. No, but there's just new challenges, and I'm interested, especially with my oldest, and he's like,
He's 15 or 14.
he's 15.
I
so-
love, by the way, just so you guys know, I love hearing, even though I'm not in that phase, because it gives me a lot to think about well before
Yeah.
I get there. You know, you guys could fuck it up, so I don't fuck my kid up. You know?
You know what?
Learn
Not
from
to
my
do.
mistakes.
Yeah. So,
Please.
So I love hearing that. What you
I got
guys-
a lot of those, bro.
Yeah, and it's tricky because too, like I want him to experience dating and I want him to kind of figure all these things out. But it's interesting to kind of watch and observe and not intervene and not like overcoach or like
Sure.
get too involved. And so I've been kind of doing a little bit more of observing, and then maybe when he asks, I'll kind of give him some tips and cues. But like the last, and he's had maybe I want to say 3 or 4 that girls that he was trying to date since he kind of shifted to this new school, and he's been kind of meeting new people and stuff. And the last one, like it was his friend, and so they kind of were friends for a while and had a good relationship on that level, but then decided that they should try to be boyfriend girlfriend, and went through that whole thing. And then he found out so this girl started getting pressure from her friends. And this was about the 1 month mark. And now I wasn't aware of this. And I don't know if you guys have heard of this. This is like a new thing, but like, so TikTok is really like invading a lot of the culture in terms of the overall zeitgeist of like how you do things. Like, so now they're creating like these standards of after 1 month, he should be talking to you this much per day. He should be taking you, to these kinds of places. He should be committed, on this type of a level. And there's all these weird like rules. And so this poor girl was getting like pressure from her friends and then conveying that to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, like I'm full-time student. Also like he's working at becoming better at gymnastics. And so he trains like 4 or 5 times a week. And so, he's
busy.
He's like, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I want to hang out, but also, like I'm not going to stop doing this. Like, and so there was just no compromise there. And so that just dissipated. And I was proud of him for having that standard and withholding that. I just thought that was kind of crazy. Like the pressure on the 15-year-old level. That's
because teens need way more pressure
Yeah, I know. I'm like, this
when it comes to dating. Like,
crazy.
Interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I've been getting into a lot of the data around relationships outside of marriage, and the data is the opposite of what these kids are being taught. It's the exact opposite, bro. Like casual sex causes nobody's happier from it. Nobody, girls especially, are not happier from it, but they are encouraged. They're encouraged that this.
Did
is
you
what
guys
do.
hear? Did you guys? Any of you guys?
Yeah, it's pretty
I
rampant.
forgot this was right before vacation, and I never shared this on the podcast. Oh my God! You have to listen to the feminist debate.
I saw that
on this.
That's what I'm referring to.
Did you watch the whole thing? I watched the
I
whole
watched
thing.
like half of it.
Oh, I watched the whole thing. So good. I stayed
Erica
up
Komisar
till 2 in the
was on
morning.
Just clowning on people.
Katrina was like, she's like, oh my. She wakes up and she's like, you still? I was like, yeah, I got sucked in. It was such a great dialogue.
Yep.
I mean, three brilliant women. All consider themselves feminists from different perspectives and talking about the whole journey of feminism, all the plus and minuses, and debating that amongst each other. They all spoke to each other well and respected. There were very good, healthy debates on there. And to your point that you're making right now, this was one of the things that was in a little bit in contention. That it was real. I mean, I can't recommend. This is a great listen for everybody. It was on Diary of the CEO. It was Erica Komisar, and I forget the other two girls because we had Erica, so I know her. But whoa, what a good conversation.
Yes.
Really, really.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, highly recommend it. Very, very, very intelligent, brilliant women breaking down and debating this. And I just loved how well they all communicated.
I like what Jordan Peterson says around that. It's like when you don't take another person seriously in a relationship, dating or whatever, you are simultaneously also not taking yourself.
Oh yeah.
You know? And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, because the culture says like you got to date a lot. You got to test drive each other. Then you got to live together. You got to find out if you're compatible sexually. And the culture says that and it teaches you all that. And the data doesn't match that. It just doesn't. The data shows that the most satisfied relationships, including sexually, are older couples who've been together for forever, who have had very few partners. The best ones reporting, and of course this is general information, right? There's always cases outside of this. Were the ones they were the only partners that they ever had. So I wish that was taught more, not like in a shameful way, because as a teenager you got all these hormones, and you know, I know how hard that is. But I wish it was taught like, well, here's what this is what actually the data shows.
That's what's tricky because I know all that is, and that's the optimal ideal. And that's what, you want to have those kind of like standards and parameters of like, hey, you don't have to, go the way of the world. You don't have to do what's expected, but at the same time, like they have to come to those conclusions themselves, and you have to be able to model that. But too, it's like it's difficult. It's difficult because just like everything else, like having to kind of turn them loose, and then and then like when do you like allow them to interact, or where do you put like boundaries and parameters on? And it's like late at night, it's like you find environments where I'm like, this is going to be a problem, and that's where I like sort of start drawing lines of like environments, parties. Like
my wife
like
is
that.
reading this book. I'm so sorry, I don't know the title of it. It was so good, and it talked about the different stages of parenting, and the teenage years is a coaching stage. So when they're real young, it's like, don't do that, do this.
Yeah.
So much more strict.
Yeah.
When they're teenagers, hopefully by then you've built such a relationship to where you're coaching them.
It's all conversation.
And they come to you.
I was going to comment.
Otherwise you get too overbearing.
Oh
and
yeah,
just
no,
doing
that's
shit.
already happening. I guess I'm throwing out these are all the hypotheticals that go through my mind.
Yeah, of course. I was going to comment on the parenting dilemma that you have, that we all have, right? As a parent of like, where do I insert myself? Where do I tell them or coach or whatever the case may be? And it reminds me of what I teach a lot with sales, the difference between a good closer and a great closer. And when you are trying to get your kid to do something, you're closing them on your ideas, right? You're selling them on why they should or shouldn't do whatever the thing is. And sure, as parents, we can go in there and tell them what to do or point out what they did wrong, but you're far more effective if you can pull them in and get them to ask you questions around that. And so I think about that a lot of, obviously I'm more at the phase of telling because my kid's so young. Yeah. But I do know that there will become a transition where it's like my goal then becomes, can I get him to ask me? Because if I can just get him to ask me, then I can share with him my own experience, what the studies say, all the things. And I think that's just far more effective to persuading them to make the right decision.
This book was really good because it says that these different stages, your kid's going to move through them, whether you like it or not.
Right.
So they're going to be in the coaching phase. And if you haven't moved out of the like, I'm going to tell you what to do phase,
you're going to lose them.
I mean, the key is this. My wife says this all the time, that the most important thing with your kids is your relationship with them. It's more important than anything else because you're going to know your kids way longer as an adult than you will as a child.
Yeah.
So if you build a good relationship with them, that's going to last forever.
Yeah.
If they come out of your house feeling like I'm free, I'm out of this tyranny, or worse, nobody loved me. Yeah. You've lost. All.
So along those lines, I learned something else here. I learned something that I was doing wrong with my parenting that I love when my paradigm gets shattered on something. And I have a habit of when Max gets frustrated or he's trying to tell me something he wants, and he's starting to whine or get frustrated with that. Is I give him the prompt, use your words. Use your words.
Right.
Use your words. And I'm trying. And I thought what I was doing was trying to help him communicate and find the right words, and I thought I was doing the right thing. and I follow this page that does really cool stuff. It's basically the neuropsychology of raising children. And to your point about their stages, in the early stages is telling them.
Yeah.
Later on becomes coaching. And I'm obviously still in the telling him stage. And what I'm doing by telling him, use your words, is I'm actually training his brain to actually go, oh, I whine first, then my dad prompts me this.
He's relying on your prompt.
Yes. So he's relying on me to do that, when in actuality, what I should be doing is actually giving him the words.
You model it.
Yes.
It's called modeling.
Yes.
Yep.
So he's frustrated. He's trying to communicate something like that. And instead of me trying to encourage him to use his words, I give him the words.
Yep.
Daddy, please. Daddy, please, can I do that? Like, and tell him, literally give him the words. Yep. And then we cut out the whining phase, because part of the whining, that's just a natural reaction of him trying to find those words and trying to do that. Yeah. And me prompting again, like, use your words. And he gave other examples of because not everybody says use your words. I know that's the one I use, which is why it hit home for me. But what you should do in those situations is you literally just repeat the statement.
It works
you want.
so good.
It does.
My wife does this so well. So like an example would be like, my kid would be like, oh, I want another lollipop. And then what you do is you instead of telling them, you model it. So, Papa, can I please have another lollipop? And then you give it to them. Yeah. Or you answer the question. Yes. And they just start to, and then what they do is they repeat it.
Yes.
It's weird. They'll just all of a sudden say it.
And then they skip the whining piece. Yeah. And so great hack.
Isn't that cool?
Some of my favorite stuff to read is neuropsychology. And I'm fascinated with children's neuroscience right now. And I think that's just, and I've loved, as I've read and come across some of the stuff, as I watching apply it, and then seeing it, unfold is really cool. It's really cool to see that, we do have a lot. I know genetics play a big role, and I know every kid is different and all those things, but I mean, we influence a lot. There's I don't know what the breakdown is, nature versus nurture. But I believe
it's not a little bit.
I believe we have a lot. I believe a lot, and I think a lot of us as parents like to tell ourselves that, oh, well, they're just that, or, oh, it's just this way, when it's like, I mean, they're trying to figure it all out. They're just these little sponges running around. And yes, some of them tend to react certain ways faster or need more of this or less of that. But all in all, you are shaping that.
What's crazy about this too, again, going back to the data with this, two things are important for a child, especially when they're young, but as they get older, is love and structure. And if you take one of those out, the results are worse. So it's just love, it's worse. You know what the worst is? Just structure. Yeah. No love. Yeah. That produces really bad results. If you grow up in a house where there's no love and it's all discipline, that's actually one of the worst.
This is where I think this is where that saying comes from. Love conquers all. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's such a bless my wife's heart. I mean, this is where I've learned so much from her. Like, she comes from that place really well. Like that's what we do first. Like we come from love first, and then all the other stuff.
You want to hear another crazy study? This is related to religion, but I think it applies. The kids that are most likely to follow in the faith of their children, what do their parents do? They've done studies on this. You know what it is? Parents who apologize and repent. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. When you're a parent and you mess up and you go to your kid and you say, "Hey, look, I'm sorry.
That's a great.
I got really mad. I'm sorry. I screamed at you."
That's what you do.
Well, because then they can accept a repentant God.
You maintain conversation. You maintain that kind of relatability and like accessibility. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not accessible, and that's how it was for me growing up. It's hard when it's always being told to you. And you don't really have that kind of invitation, because if you are like admitting like my faults and here's how I could have handled it better,
you gain respect. You don't gain respect.
They want to come to you and explain more.
That reminds me. So I don't know if I shared the John Deloney interview that he had with the girl that I know we've talked about many times. She has that great TED Talk. Her big viral TED Talk is the one you're communicating right now, which is
Dr. Becky.
Yes. Yeah. John Deloney's interview with her was phenomenal, but that her big TED Talk is it's one of the most powerful things that we can do as parents.
It's crazy if you think about it, because you're not perfect. Like, I don't think anybody thinks that, well, if you do, then you're a narcissist, but nobody's perfect. your kid knows you're not perfect.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this. I can look back on my parents.
really
and
smart.
so why don't you show them?
It's
that humility.
It is so.
It doesn't reduce your authority.
It's so powerful. It is something. I mean, I watched the TED Talk a long time ago, and it's something that we've modeled in our house. And I watched Max do it. Like he does it. He makes mistakes, and
you know what he probably also does? He probably because I see this with my two little ones. If my younger one like hits my older one, or vice versa, and they're super mad, and then the other one apologizes, they accept it right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
Because usually that doesn't happen. Little kid's like, I don't care if you're sorry, you hurt me.
Yeah.
Right away, my son will say, it's okay, thank you. And then they're over it.
Yeah.
And why did they learn that? Because mom and dad apologize all the time for when we mess up. And we mess up all the
Dude,
time.
I have, speaking of our kids and stuff like that, so this is my first one. I'm sure you guys, I wonder if you guys remember your first. So my son is learning and knows how to play a game that took me back to my childhood. That was absolutely one of my favorite games I ever played. And he now knows how to play. So what a cool
game?
Guess Who?
Oh, yeah.
I loved Guess Who.
Really? You
Yeah.
just started playing that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Bro,
well,
that's our number one game.
Yeah, well, he's good enough that he can beat me. Like this is the first. Like he's never been out. I introduced that game probably 2 years ago, and it was we weren't playing the game. Let's be honest. We were looking at the characters, and we weren't playing the game. We're playing the game now. Like where we right now before he goes to bed. Now we play 2 or 3 games before bed, and everything. And he beat me 3 out of 3 games last night. Wow. So I absolutely love that he's able to beat me. And I haven't had that yet. We have not been able to play something that he is there cognitively enough that he could actually beat me at something. And so, watching him do that. And then I had forgot that was a game that I loved playing as a kid. I was obsessed with that game. And so seeing him playing it and doing it and then doing it with him is like such a blast to do that.
So fun.
And they have, so if you don't know this, like Guess Who did, collaborations with everything you could think of.
Oh, so there's more?
Oh, bro.
Because I am using the same one.
Oh, bro. So I just bought for his birthday is coming up. We already have Guess Who Mario. So it's all the Mario characters.
Okay, that's enough. I got to get these.
Just bought Guess Who Star Wars because that's our other thing we're into. So it makes it even more fun because he's obsessed with the characters from Mario. And so, it's
done.
Yeah, it's fun to watch him do that.
All right, I got to talk to you guys about some testimonials about Zbiotics. The testimonials that come in from our listeners who use Zbiotics is hilarious.
Yeah.
I haven't read those in a while.
I won't drink ever again without Zbiotics. Yeah. That's what I keep saying.
That was me.
I will never drink again without Zbiotics. Which takes me to this. I don't know why Zbiotics hasn't done this. Why aren't they going to bars?
They are. They are in some.
Are they?
Yeah. I actually saw
because that's money.
So I don't know if you saw this in our forum.
I would have been handing them out like hotcakes.
Somebody in our forum just tried it recently for the first time, and they were like, "Oh my god!" And then of course underneath it were all the other people that were like, "Yeah, me too." It's like everyone started going on, and then somebody made that comment of like, "Oh man, I wish they were in the bars." And then people started posting like, "Oh no, they're in this one, and they're in this." They're in
because it's money for the bar.
They're not in a lot, but I know they're in a couple places.
Yeah, buy it and then you drink, and then you feel better, so you probably enjoy yourself.
You would think from a bar it would be a brilliant strategy because it doesn't make you drink any less.
No,
so
you feel better the day after.
For them, it's in their best interest to do that. But I don't know why that hasn't been like a massive campaign to try and get in there. I don't know what the conflict maybe is. Why it's
probably
so
just
good.
Time and energy because they're so focused on product development and the science.
Yeah.
That's
I think what I would think, like you have to really get
bars,
in there and talk to
so
people.
my theory, just my business brain says it's coming from a place of scarcity. And just like some marketing people that we know and stuff like that, they look at something like that and they go like, that's $13 they didn't spend on a $13 drink. And so it's taking
the bar?
Yes.
Oh, that's not going to do that. I guess you're right. You're probably right.
That's exactly
why would anybody spend $13 on this and then they're not going to buy him another drink? I see.
So, and the average person only has $26 in their pocket. There's a good chance they would buy 2 drinks for $13, but now they have to buy a Zbiotic and then a drink. That's less money we make because
the bar is going to make more money. That's what I think.
I mean, yeah, I agree too. But but people operate from that logic a lot. And marketing people.
I think you could sell it at a bar. Hey, take this. This is your pre-alcohol drink. Would you like a pre-alcohol drink with your drink?
I mean, that's you selling it. I think it would. I think if they sell it individually, I think it sells.
Justin's right though. It's guerrilla marketing. He worked in a bar, and that's what it is, right? You want to get stuff in the bars, you got to go to each one.
You got to get in there.
Well, yeah, all the bars do that.
They're not going to pay attention to you.
What are those girls called? They're like they do that at bars.
Cocktail waitresses.
No.
No. What are you talking about?
No, every bar you've ever been to or club. There's always
that like works for one of the companies.
yes. There's always like
like Smirnoff.
yeah,
over
Smirnoff,
there, yeah.
and there's two hot girls, and they're passing out shots of it, and like and
They're promoting it.
Yes, they're promoters. But what are
And
those
they
names?
also use cocktail waitresses to do that.
Yeah.
So
promoters.
Yeah,
I
promoters.
guess the promoters.
Yeah, it's normally people outside of the bar.
I told you guys back in the day, like even Starbucks.
Yes, promo girls.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Sure.
I don't know the title.
Yeah, it was before your
Sorry,
time.
ladies.
How far back you go? Just that far back.
I'm old school. Yeah.
You're supposed to be our referee or bar guy.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they would literally come in and give us free product, and so as you get free product, then they kind of have a trial run. And we had this with Bailey's, and we had this with even Starbucks was doing a run where they had like their liqueur they just came up with, and they wanted to test it out. And it's like, so you give these little shots of it, and we would make drinks, and they teach us kind of how to make drinks with it. So there was a little bit of like they'd come in and kind of like teach you all of like what it all entails and like how to make them and all this stuff, and then come back a month later and see how it went, like how the customers liked it, all this stuff, and then we would decide whether or not we'd carry it if it was popular enough.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like the process.
I mean, I also think part of the problem is that Zbiotics is probably afraid. It's a lot of
free product
They're
they
a
gotta give.
Startup company, and so that's a lot of money. But
You're right.
but
They
boy,
don't give a lot of free product
But
away.
I tell you what, if I think
You're going to get customers like that.
this is how I
once
would.
you try
what I
it-
would do is I would
it's a
just
hook.
chalk it up. We're gonna lose $100,000 on product, but whatever that number of Zbiotics is, and it's like for the next 3 months or whatever, even a month, we're going to go every Friday, Saturday night. You know how bars, they intentionally line people up to make it look
Oh,
so
just hand them out in the line.
Literally, just hand them all out to everybody. Like, drink this before you
See,
drink
this
your.
is why he's the business guy. Jason.
And then you literally just chalk it up that was a $100,000 investment. We gave it all away over the course of however long we got
full-on
out
marketing campaign.
and then let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And I bet you, to your guys' point, that like you do it with I don't know what the percentage of people, because we have some people that are like, oh, I didn't really notice a difference, but then you have people that are like, oh my god. So it's
vast
typically what you hear.
majority are.
Nobody ever says anything negative. It's always like, I didn't really notice a difference, or it's oh my god.
Yeah.
And I would say most people go, oh my god.
Oh, I hate it
I would
when
do
if
a
I drink.
massive St. Patrick's Day event, like
Yeah, do it on a holiday when you know
Yes.
everybody's getting
to like as
aggressively
many
drink.
bars I possibly could, and like it almost like because then it would be memorable, because most people get way too out of hand on like certain holidays like that, and it's like if you can provide that ahead of time, it'd be like they would remember that
For sure.
Most children's multivitamins are just candy, and they don't have the right nutrients or enough of the nutrients to make a difference for your kids. Look, if you want to give your kids candy, that's up to you. But if you want to give your kids a multivitamin because you want them to be healthy, you don't want them to have any nutrient deficiencies, which is so common nowadays in children, use Haya. These are multivitamins that are not full of sugar and crap, but they have the nutrients that your kids need. This is the only multivitamin for kids that we promote here on Mind Pump. Try them out. Get 50% off your first order. Go to HiyaHealth.com. That's HIYA health.com/Mind Pump. Again, that gets you 50% off. Back to the show. This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Mind Pump Fitness Coaching. This is the #1 course that teaches trainers and coaches how to build sustainable 6-figure plus businesses and careers in fitness. Look, it's roundtable based, so you can hear Adam, Justin, and myself teaching you how to build a better business, get more leads, close more deals, close bigger deals, and be more effective trainers. By the way, our course is nationally recognized. In fact, it gives you 1.9 CEUs with or for your NASM certification. Find out more at mindpumpfitnesscoaching.com.
Our first caller is Brad from North Carolina.
What's up, Brad?
How you doing, Brad?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How can we help you?
Hey, thanks for having me back on. Quick question for you today. My lower ribs have kind of always stuck out more than I think most people's. And I always just kind of chalked it up to genetics. As my dad has it. Looks like my son, does that as well. And the leaner I've gotten over the years, it's become more noticeable. And lately I've heard people refer to it as rib flare, and maybe that it is correctable and actually fixable. So just curious.
No. Yeah, it's not really, you can't do much for it, but you can strengthen the muscles that support the rib cage, like the intercostals, the serratus, strengthen your core. typically, I mean, unless it's really bad, it doesn't produce a functional issue. It's just an aesthetic thing. Now it can get really, really bad, but I believe it's called what's pectus cavertum, when it can be really where the rib cage actually caves in at the top as well and causes rib flare. And that's a whole different thing. But there's not much you could do at your age to change the shape of your rib cage with exercise or anything like that. It's pretty much that.
I feel like mine got a lot better as I got older, and I just developed my core. Like it was, I had this, my left side, you would see my left rib, bottom rib poking out when I got lean. And it was like that since I was a kid. But over years of like really just working on posture and core and building the core area, I felt like really did that. So it's helped. Like I forever can tell. Like if I feel like my abdominal area, I can feel my rib cage on my left side feels like it's just pokes out a little more on that one side. And it used to be really obvious when I was a kid. It's not so much that as I've gotten older. And I just think that's because I've built a lot of muscle around it that it doesn't show as much. And I think that's probably the best advice. And it's not causing any problems, right? You don't have pain from it or discomfort or anything like that. It's more aesthetic, right?
Yeah, for the most part, I used to surf a lot, and that was always pretty sore afterwards, just from laying on your board all day.
Yeah, because you're pressing on it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the rib cage, right? So this starts at the spine, comes around, attaches there at the sternum. In between the ribs is connective tissue and muscle, and so to an extent, you can strengthen that, and of course, work on posture and stuff like that, and that can help a little bit change the shape, but it's not this radical change. Now, if you're a child, you can definitely have influence over the development of your rib cage because everything's still growing.
Still malleable.
Everything's still quite malleable, but as an adult, not really, not a lot. But I would say like things that
wouldn't hurt to work on it a bit.
No, like working on thoracic mobility, working on rotation, strengthening the core, dumbbell pullovers with deep breath in.
Intrinsically bracing.
Yeah, that kind of stuff can make a difference in terms of stability.
Gotcha. Anything specific on building maybe up the obliques, kind of to hide it a little bit, or?
Rotational exercises are great, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that has resistance with rotation is going to be great for developing them. And then suitcase carries will also help strengthen the lateral stability and help build that out. So like
bent presses too.
Bent presses.
Windmills.
Do you have our program Old Time Strength?
That'd be a great program.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll build up your
Perfect.
obliques.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
a great one.
Let's send that to you.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be great. I just finished aesthetics, anabolic.
Yeah, so Old Time Strength is very different.
Ooh, great one to follow up, though.
This is how
It'll address a lot of those needs,
right.
though. Yeah, especially obliques and QL and all that. Yeah.
Sweet. I appreciate it, guys.
You got it.
All right, Brad.
Right on.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Back in the day,
I had this really bad.
as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, even as a
Like
young,
really protruding out.
Yeah. I mean, I can still feel it to this day.
Yeah.
It's like, but I have as I worked on posture, and I built a lot of muscle around it. You guys don't notice. I do still. I can still feel it.
I noticed it. We call you Ribby when you know.
when I was young, it was actually a big insecurity of mine. That's why I was like, right away, I get it, because it would bother me when I was lean and I'd be on the beach and stuff. You just see that left side. You just see that bottom of my rib just poking out. Didn't bother me other than the look of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what bothered me.
Yeah, back in the day, they would sell the dumbbell pullover as a rib expanding exercise to give you a big rib cage, because for some reason they prized the big rib cage to make you look bigger, and so that's how they sold pullovers. That's how Arnold sold it. That's how all the bodybuilders in the 60s and the 50s and 40s. That's why they did them. And there may be some truth to that because you can get so tight with the intercostals that your rib cage doesn't move and flex very well when you breathe in or do anything else. But it's really just about working on mobility, and how much that'll actually change the shape. I don't think it's a ton.
Our next caller is Rachel from Florida.
Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Rachel.
So long time no see. My husband and I made the pilgrimage out to visit you guys back in 2022 when you hosted the live event at your studios.
Cool.
And we were some of the VIPs. So it's been a long time, but it was great meeting you guys then, and great to talk to you again.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah. So I will jump in. Well, first of all, thank you for everything that you do. You guys are the best, but I think you already know that. So I'm going to dive right in. And I was rereading my question, and I thought it kind of didn't make a lot of sense. So I'm just going to kind of condense it down. I am what I would consider a pretty experienced lifter. I've been lifting for 10 years. I've run all the MAPS programs, literally every single one except for PED and I think MAPS Anabolic Advanced. So I've done it all. I try to change it up, do more of what you're not doing. And I feel like I've stalled probably the last couple of years when it comes to building muscle. And I know that's something that just happens as you lift longer and longer. It's harder and harder to add muscle. And I get that, but I'm just wondering, I guess, if it really comes down to, in the end, more programming or more diet when it kind of gets to be that level where you've been lifting for a long time. You're mixing it up, but you're just kind of on repeat a little bit, if that makes sense. And I just don't know how to move the needle, or what would move the needle more, doing more of kind of a bulk and focusing more on diet, or focusing on programming, or both. I just want your opinion.
Well, because you already do a really good job on the programming, that's probably not where it's at. And I'm looking at, because you gave us more information about where your calories are at. My thing would be, you probably need to push the bulk a little harder. And that would be where it's at, and get comfortable with that. That's what happens to a lot of my experienced female clients that are in this kind of a similar boat as you are, is that, can I, push myself to a calorie intake that I've never done really consistently for long enough to break through that, I don't like the way I'm looking because I'm getting bigger or bulkier, and then not reversing out. I would think that that's where the answer lies for you. Now, granted, I think you're in incredible shape, but if you were saying, hey, I really want to build more, then I think that's where the answer lies, is more in the nutrition and pushing the calories, but simultaneously moving the program. So if you do tend to lean more to, are you more like of a MAPS aesthetic or a MAPS anabolic girl? Well, whichever one you are, I'm gonna maybe steer you into a program that's different, quite a bit different than that, like maybe old timey or strong, and then really push the calories and push them for a while.
Yeah, and here's Adam's on point 100%, because as I'm reading your question that you wrote in, your diet's dialed, you average 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day, you're 20% body fat, you have a bit of a fear of gaining body fat. So it depends on the person, but in your case, it's diet. Now, if you really want to see some gains, someone who's experienced like you, what I would do is I would have you do MAPS Anabolic Advanced, and I have you bump your calories by about 300 to 400 calories.
Okay.
And so
really, so you would go to like 2,500, you think? 2,400,
24.
At least that.
Yeah.
I think at least that. I'm looking at you're in good shape. You've been training for a long time. I mean, if you were my client, I'd have you up to 3,000 plus calories by now. Like you could,
wow.
Unless you're sedentary, and I don't know, unless you're somebody who just doesn't move all day long, but you don't look like somebody who doesn't move all day long.
No, I'm actually a personal trainer, and so I move a ton. And I think that might sometimes be
100%.
what I don't take into account.
100%.
Honestly how much I move.
100%. If you're training clients and you're moving around that much, plus you train the way you train, that's low. Those are low calories. It's not unhealthy. It's good. Like, obviously you've maintained a great healthy physique, but if we want to put on some muscle, I got to get you up there. And I bet you could support 3,000 calories. Yeah,
you're 20% body fat. How tall and how tall are you? How much you weigh, if you don't want me asking?
I'm 5'2", and I weigh about 130 consistently.
Yeah, I mean, just out of sensitivity to your fear of gaining body fat, I mean, you could start with 400 calorie bump, and then again, halfway through, bump it again. And I think you're just going to see gains. Yeah. I think you're just going to see strength and muscle. I think MAPS Anabolic Advanced is a great program to follow while doing that. Okay. And I think you're going to blow yourself away.
And I'm curious too, I guess another slight fear that I have, and I've read a lot I'm part of the forum, and I read all the time on that, and I am 43 years old, so I don't have any real symptoms of perimenopause, or dear God, there's so much out there when the hormones start to change. And I get a little bit fearful that if I were to bulk and add some body fat, which I completely understand is just a part of bulking, like you're never going to get away with not adding a little bit.
Right.
I guess I would be fearful that it would be harder to get rid of that body fat once you wanted to kind of do a cut and reveal that muscle, just simply the fact that I am a little bit older. Yeah, look, right now I don't have a problem with that, but I obviously am kind of under eating.
So two things, too low a calories is much more likely to trigger menopause than too high a calories in an active person who strength trains. Okay. So if you want to trigger hormone changes that are more perimenopausal, what you do is you overtrain and you undereat. And that'll stop your period. That'll cause lots of different things to happen. So that's number one. Number two, if you bump your calories 400 calories, you're not going to gain all this crazy body fat and then be like, oh my God, what did I do? That's not going to happen. Yeah, you're going to have plenty of time to assess what's going on. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're just going to get stronger.
Yeah.
You're just going to get stronger and
feel the muscle.
That's right. And you're going to gain some muscle.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that was my primary. And I kind of knew the answer. Again, most people already know when they call in, but I just wanted to. One other question too, I guess, with the fear of doing again, I'm a coach. I get the benefit of hiring someone to kind of work you through the uncomfortable parts. Would you recommend hiring a nutrition coach to get me to that level? Because I have this weird fear and it's hard for me to do it on my own.
I would love for one of our trainers to take you through this. If you're open to that, I would love for them. Because I honestly, that is the only thing. Like if you were my client, I have no question. I bet you have great form. You understand extra. Like the one thing will be the psychological part. And it would be me just talking to you every week or every other week going, you're doing great, Rachel. That's and you going like, I don't know, Adam, I feel this way. And I'll be like, no, you're doing great. Like just that person as a second pair of eyes, letting you know that you're doing great. Because otherwise we mind fuck ourselves. We're all guilty of this. And so I think there's a lot of value in hiring the coach just literally for that more than anything else, just to be a second pair of eyes. I mean, I did it when I was competing. I didn't need a coach to tell me what to do. It was more like, I just need a second pair of eyes. It lets me know like, no, you're doing fine. You're good. And I tell you what, it's worth it. So yeah, I'd love for you to let one of our coaches to take you through that process.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, Mind Pump coaches, I'm not exactly sure how to get in touch with y'all, but I'm sure.
We'll reach out to you.
We'll reach out to you. Don't even worry about it.
You'll hear from someone today.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll send them over.
Okay, yeah. Then I think that, and I guess one final thing, if I have you guys on the phone, I'm just kind of curious too. My husband and I were debating a little bit. Powerlift is by far my favorite program. I have always loved just building strength and really kind of working through that and getting, setting new PRs. And that's always my favorite thing. What do you think about that in terms of just raw muscle building? My husband was saying, more of a hypertrophy like MAPS Anabolic Advanced would be better for just strict muscle building. What do you think about that? Is that, I don't know.
We're splitting hairs.
Yeah, we are splitting. Those are two great. Those are two great programs to put on muscle.
If you're if you just all you ever do is power lift and moving to a different rep range, bodybuilding style. Yeah, but I like Anabolic Advanced for you because you haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
you said that was one of the programs you haven't done.
Yeah, it's literally the only one we own that I've never done.
Yeah, and so do that with a surplus, and you're going to see some.
I love that too because especially one, you've done the other one. Two, this is also where Sal introduces training to failure in there too. Yeah. So there's that ability. So it's very different. Anabolic Advanced is very unique.
It's a deload week. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of value you training that one. I love that idea.
Okay.
Both cool. For the discussion with husband, like those are both great programs for that goal.
Okay.
Though. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so it's more diet than it is programming, and that's kind of what I thought.
For sure. We got you though. We'll have someone call you today.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Rachel.
Thank you.
All right.
For sure.
Easy.
For sure.
Yeah. She's got that much muscle, that strong, that lean, 18 to 200,000.
Trainer. Probably taking 15to 10,000 a day.
Yeah. And her body is she's maintaining is what she's doing. Her body's been able to run off of what she's eating. But if you want to add more lean tissue, you got to provide your body with the resources to do so. Otherwise, it can be very, very difficult, which is okay if you don't mind maintaining.
So this was, these are almost, she said 5'2", right?
Yeah, 5'2", 130 pounds.
This is Melissa Wolf's numbers, literally. Like 130, 5'2", this many calories when we started. We got all the way up to 3,200 calories. She hit stage in like almost single-digit body fat at 2,400 calories. Right. That was on stage, 2,400 calories. So I took her from 18 to 2,000, kind of made, and she was always a fit girl, so it's not like I radically changed her body fat percentage and all that. But it was literally getting her all the way up to over 3,000 calories, bringing her back down. She hit stage in peak week at 2,400 calories.
Our next caller is Desi from Utah.
Hi, Desi.
Hey, Desi.
Hello.
How can we help you?
So nervous. Holy cow. Okay. I'm 44 years old. I've kept active my whole life, counted calories on and off. I've known I need to lift weights for years, especially as I age, but just could never make myself do it. I found your podcast at the end of last year, and finally, thanks to you guys, have started lifting weights. I've been doing MAPS 15 since January. I love the strength. I love the muscle that I'm gaining. At the same time, also thanks to you guys, I started increasing my calories to see how high I could get, and I got up to 2150 without gaining weight, but decided to cut because that just felt like so much food, and I wanted to see what a cut could do. Right before the cut, I was able to do an incline dumbbell press at 30 pounds, which I started at 15, so that felt awesome. But then my next two sets were at 25, which was fine. But then I was in my cut and I couldn't even like do 2 presses at 30 pounds. So I didn't know if that was normal in a deficit. And like, how do you decide how much weight to lift? Do you just maintain? I think I was just used to like increasing my weight the whole time I was doing it. And then my next question was just, could I do MAPS 15 for the rest of my life and be okay? Or do I need to switch things up? Because I love the program, love that I can fit it in my life, but I don't know if that would not be the best.
Yeah, great questions, Desi.
Yep.
you're doing
First
great.
off, it is normal to notice a decline in strength when you reduce your energy intake. However, your calories didn't get very high, and then you cut them down. I'm assuming around 1,500 is probably where you went, which is really low.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really low. So how tall are you and how much do you weigh, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 5'7" and I'm like 135.
Yeah, that's really low. So you're going to see substantial strength loss going that low with your calories. Someone like you, strength training over time. I mean, your cut would be around 2,000 calories, not your bulk. Okay, but it's a slow process. You don't need to force it. You need to, you don't need to like slam yourself with food. You just slowly allow the muscle building and metabolism boost to work and continue to pursue strength little by little over time. And what this looks like is slowly you can increase your calories, then you can stay at the same calories for a while, then you can increase it. And you just take your time doing this. As far as your question around MAPS 15 is concerned, it's a very well-balanced program. So you could do it indefinitely. However, you're probably better off switching at some point just for some variety and for something different. And I think if you like that kind of programming, the 15-minute a day type of deal, then I think MAPS 15 performance would be a wonderful program to put in your
toggle back and forth between those.
Oh, okay.
I think I even like that. Like I don't mind that you did the cut for a little bit. In fact, how long have you been doing the cut for?
Like maybe a month and a half.
Okay, so this is what if I was training you and we got up to a high calorie like for you, which was 2150, and you'd never been there before, and you were curious what it would look like, I would probably put you on a look. I probably would have only done it for like 2 weeks or so, and then gone right back up again.
Yep.
So everything you did, I think, is great. I think you could go right back, but this time go up to 2200 calories or 2250. And do that for a while and see how long you can stay there and not putting and watch your strength come right back, and you'll be feeling great again. And ultimately, the goal would for us to kind of keep doing that, where we get to a calorie intake you've never been at for a while. Embrace the strength, stay there for a while, and while is like 2 months. Then do a little cut for 2 weeks, and then go right back again. And just keep every time you go back, you try and bump the calories a little bit more until you and I have got to a place where you're eating 2,800 calories. And now when you cut, it's 2,300 calories, and you feel, feel satiated. You feel stronger, which is going to be one of the benefits of getting your calorie intake, is that you could be in a cut and still have pretty good strength. 1,500 is really low, and you're definitely going to feel that when you're lifting. And so it's totally normal that you felt that. It's not bad. It's just it's expected. And so ultimately, the goal would be to keep kind of doing what you're doing and get those calories up, and just and over time, you're going to just continue to love the way it continues to shape and build your body.
Yeah. Now, just so you understand, the little 2-week cuts that Adam's talking about, the purpose of that would be to help you with the appetite part. If you feel like, oh my God, I'm eating so much food, a 2-week cut will help stimulate that again.
Yep.
But here's the other part of this, though, that I want you to examine. Oftentimes, people who've counted calories or always watched their weight for most of their life, or have been very aware of it, I should say, whenever they get to a certain point that feels uncomfortable, it's not because it's too much food. They're just a bit fearful. Like, I think I'm eating too much. Like, maybe I shouldn't be eating this much, because they're not used to eating. They're not used to feeding their body. So that's a question I want to ask that I would want you to ask yourself through this process. Is this really feel like I'm stuffing myself, or does it really feel like I'm just afraid? I'm just afraid of going this high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't have MAPS Performance 15, I'll send that to you. And those two programs, you can go back and forth for the rest of your life. If you want.
Okay, that would be awesome. Yeah, I don't have that one.
I love that choice for you, by the way. I think what you're doing is great.
Yeah.
Slowly increasing calories, running a 15 program like that. I'm excited to see what happens over the next 5 to 6 months.
And by the way, you have, if you started back in January, and if you do this well, you've got some nice strength gains for the next 2 years at least, where you're going to, now it's not going to be super linear, but you're going to see yourself generally over time get stronger. So if you went from 15 to 30, it's going to be really exciting to see where you end up, a couple of years from now. You'll be doing things that you didn't think possible, which is pretty cool.
Hey, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm excited.
Doing great,
Desi. Go back to increasing my calories.
Good.
Right on.
There you go.
Keep it up. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Desi.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye. I get why people are afraid of that,
of course,
but oftentimes I feel like I'm eating. This is too much food for me. The question is, does it really feel like it's too much food, or is it the fear?
No, it's a great way to challenge her thinking around that, because that's so true. A lot of people, it's not. It's just that it's a lot for them. They've never had that. And any time in the past, maybe they have. It's like turned into body fat, and they freak out that it's like, oh God, this is gonna
unfamiliar area.
Well, what it feels like is somebody who's always been super hyper aware of eating too much. They feel more comfortable with the empty feeling. And so to them, that's like anything other than that doesn't feel good. Just like for me, which was the reverse, I always stuffed myself, trying not to be a skinny kid. And going without feeling like I had all this food in my belly was like, I'm eating too little.
Yeah, you have to
so it's a bit of a distorted connection to how I felt.
Our next caller is Jim from Australia.
Welcome back, sir.
Hey, what's going on, Jim?
Okay, boys. Okay.
Okay.
I only have one question, okay?
Okay.
Who was I was going to say sadistic, but let's just say enthusiastic author of Phase 3, Day 1 of Aesthetic?
Oh,
that's the pull. Is that the pull up and the back and forth?
This is a bunch of supersets.
Supersets.
That was probably Sal's idea.
No,
that's for sure Sal's idea.
How'd you like
these
that?
are the aesthetic guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely not Justin's idea. It was either Sal or I, probably.
I thought you were going to go Matrix lunge, and I was like, oh shit, here we go.
Well, thank you, boys. Thank you. I mean,
it's brutal.
I don't know what went through your minds when you thought, let's program 6 supersets, 4 sets each, one after the other. Let's see how we go with that. Man, boys. I mean, I've had some tough routines, but you guys humbled me. Absolutely humbled me.
Love it.
Anyway, just a quick recap. I'm 67, been training since I was 16, celebrated half a century of holding weight above my chest. Bulk of that time was using a 4-day split, gathered from magazines and stuff from Frank Zane, Lou Ferrigno, Arnie, all the greats of my day. So I was feeling confident and arrogant that I thought I knew what I was doing. But I sought your advice as the volume in anabolic wasn't the right fit for me. You suggested aesthetic. Again, thank you, boys, for bringing me closer to hell. That was a very interesting experience. Anyway, you asked for my thoughts, and I'm going to keep this short because it's 3 a.m. here, and last time my diatribe went for about 15 minutes. I showed my wife the interview. The only thing she said was she looked at me and said, "You really don't know when to shut up, do you, Jim?" So, apologies, boys. Let's get quickly into it. My thoughts, because you asked for them. Okay, aesthetic pushed me way beyond what I thought it would be. I loved the novelty, absolutely enjoyed the novelty, first and foremost of the routine. Like anything new, it's exciting to try. And I think my body responded quite favorably. Going from the 4-day split or even anabolic to this 3-day full body has had an interesting effect psychologically with me. I've not once made an excuse not to train. I mean, I only finished aesthetic last week. Not once did I miss. Hang on. Except for the second time I did phase 3, day 1. I mean, seriously, wow. That was a killer. But anyway, I feel less fatigued and more ability because of the increased rest periods. And consequently, I feel really good about it, boys. You've hit upon something here. Now, I did not conform strictly to the routine because I do a 30-minute ab and stretch routine every morning when I get up at 5 a.m. And it's intense enough to make me sweat in the middle of winter. So I know it's a good routine for me. So I dropped all the crunches and leg lifts at the end of the aesthetic routines.
Okay.
And I didn't always do the focus sessions. But otherwise, I was pretty religious and stuck to it. Now, you got me to introduce squats and deadlifts. I explained last time I just stood right clear of them for almost the whole 50 years of my training career because the reasoning was, I saw a lot of my mates in the 70s and 80s have bad backs and all that sort of stuff, and Sal explained that to me last time, so I won't go into that, but what I did was I did those, both the deadlifts and the squats with a light weight and just focusing on that form. And I'm actually able to stand on one leg while putting my underpants on now. So thanks, boys. Something like that for a guy my age is a big deal.
That is a big deal. Yeah. That's awesome.
Win.
Yes, it is a win. But all jokes aside, it's given me renewed confidence, boys, and at my age too. So well done for teaching me another lesson.
No.
One of the practicalities of that, of course, is I'm able to pick up my granddaughter from the ground so much easier now.
Yeah.
But I feel as if I might have to introduce a Turkish get-up or something because it's still a challenge for me to, while I'm laying down on the floor, to pick her up. So that's something I'm probably going to introduce later on anyway.
Mm-hmm. Great idea.
I like that.
Perfect.
Now, I took some measurements, as Adam suggested, before I started aesthetic. Look, I lost a little bit of size off my chest, and that's to be expected. I mean, I went from 4 or 5 exercises of 4 sets each twice a week to what aesthetic gives me now. But having said that, I feel as if I fill out my t-shirt more. I feel broader. I feel a general sense of well-being. So to me, losing that inch off my chest, I think it was worth it. It really was. I really feel good about this.
Good. And you might have got leaner through the program. Did you notice anything like that?
Say again, sorry, Sal.
Did you notice that you got leaner through the program? Because that'll change the chest measurement.
No, mate, I didn't get leaner. I won't lie there. I did put on. I put on 3 kilos, and that's what's about 6-7 pounds.
Yeah. Oh wow!
But my belts are a bit tighter. I went on a bulk while I was doing it.
Okay.
Because I thought this is the volume in this is pretty high, so I want to make sure I've got my
good call.
My calories up there.
Smart.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
No, that's
now. I didn't push myself in terms of weight, as I focused on the form predominantly, as that's very important in my age. As Sal suggested, I honed in on the skill rather than the weight. So perhaps I didn't get the outcome I could have. So this is what I've decided to do, boys. I've just finished aesthetic. I'm going to go back on a 4-day split routine for 4 weeks, just to introduce a novelty back into my body.
Yeah.
I'm going to do aesthetic again, but increase the weights and more time under tension. And I think it's going to be a very effective program for me.
I love that. I love that idea. If I can make one suggestion, just because you noticed a little decrease in your chest, is if you make a little more effort on the focus sessions and make the chest the thing you focus on, watch that come right up. So that right there. And I love the idea of interrupting this, going back for 4 weeks for the novelty, then coming back. And then just I would do focus days, add stuff on the chest. And I think right there, the combination of that, your skills, improving, getting better, maybe adding a little bit more weight on all those lifts, look out.
I think you're right, Adam. I will. You guys suggested a whole stack of focus sessions on chest, and I've got all the gear for all those exercises, so I'll definitely do that. There's one point, you guys. I didn't think it was fair for me to compare anabolic to aesthetic, because I think that was what you guys asked me to do as well, because they really are for different purposes, and I understand that now. I understand what you guys were going on about, having gone through both programs now, and for my use case, it's defiantly aesthetic.
Love it.
Now, last point, because I promised my wife that I was going to be quick. You guys deserve all the respect and comments you get. You knew what was going to happen with me, and that says something about your ability. I thought I knew a lot, but just going through this one program of yours and the impact it's had on my body and my psyche, because that was what I was worried about, my psyche. It's been incredible for me. Not only did you guys teach this old dog new tricks, but the confidence you've given me, I'm thinking I can still do this for another decade or two into my 90s.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's right.
Excellent.
Well, Jim, you inspire us, brother.
Yeah, man.
You're an inspiration to us, let me tell you.
Love it.
Well, thanks, guys. Seriously, gentlemen, you really made a difference in my life. I didn't think I would get the satisfaction and the excitement. It's 3:00 in the morning here, and after this, I'm going back. I'm going into the gym for half an hour while my wife's sleeping.
I love it.
All right.
I love it, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Hey, we appreciate you,
Great
Jim.
energy, man.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, boys. Seriously, thank you very much for all your advice. I love you guys, and I'll keep listening. Thanks, boys.
Philly's mutual,
You're the
brother.
best, dude.
Thank you. You know what's cool about that?
What a great guy.
What's cool about that for me, right, is just to listen. Like, was he 67? 67, been working out for most of his life, strength training, bodybuilding. The amount of volume he can handle.
Yeah.
I know.
Aesthetic is a lot of volume. It's a ton. But it's just so cool because his body is so conditioned to be able to do that. Anybody listening who's wants to strength train as they age, like it gets better and better and better.
I don't think there's been yet a 60-plus-year-old that we have ever recommended aesthetic to.
No, but after when we talked to him in the last,
No, I remember.
No, we did.
I remember. I mean, that was, if there's a guy who's going to do that and see great benefits from it, he was the guy.
dude,
it's
so incredible.
cool.
I remember learning about Jack LaLanne's workout routine in his mid 50s, which, by the way, that's when he set the world record for push-ups and pull-ups. Was 55, 55 years old.
So rad.
Even in his 90s, before he died, he was doing some pretty amazing workouts. So it's definitely possible, as long as it's appropriate. But Jim is a great example of that. All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. How strong should you be? Ever wonder if you're actually strong, or at least compared to people like yourself? Today's episode, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to help you determine how strong you should be, and also talk about the steps to getting strong as fast as possible. In fact, we're going to talk about the fastest way to get bigger and stronger all at the same time.
I know keeps Adam up at night.
Yes, it does, actually. And I know that you wrote a really complex episode here, but I think Justin's metric has been the one